So let's now cross over to our guest who is in studio currently. Sir, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gardner, once again for having us on the show.
Okay, and for the benefit of the listeners and those who just joined, just say who you are here.
Okay, my name is Francis K. Fuka, Junior, and the president of Tupman University Faculty Association, lecturer in the College of Agriculture and Food Science, and also the chairman, Department of Agronomy.
Okay, the Tupman University is gearing up for another semester. Some form of registration is going on. I know there's some hitch, some technical hitch, but how prepared are you for this upcoming semester as faculty?
Thank you once again. Mr. Gardner, let me first of all say that our appearance on the show tonight is to provide clarity on some major issues as well as highlight additionalities in terms of where we all want this institution to go. Having said that, I would firstly want to express our condolences as the Faculty Association to the family of our fallen student. We say, may peace be upon his soul. We also like to say sorry to our returning and especially new students that are affected by this entire registration process. We all know that the process has started inauspiciously. We've been in communication with administration, and they have assured us that they are doing everything possible to make sure that registration gets on course. So, in terms of the beginning of the semester, there are still issues that need to be addressed, and subsequently we're going to address that as the show moves on.
Okay, and we actually wanted to address that first before coming to the clarity you wanted to make. Well, let's move into the clarity you wanted to make, and I'm sure this would include the MOU which you signed a couple of months ago with the administration, which effectively ended your strike action at the institution.
Okay, so a quick reminder, the strike action or the academic disengagement was not ended, but rather suspended. I would like for us to keep that in mind.
Okay.
The clarity is on one. There is news around on both in the media and in different fora that practically or literally everything within the MOU has been addressed, particularly the issue of salaries. We'd like to clarify here that that has not been addressed completely. There's information circulating that we are on par with the University of Liberia. TUFA is saying tonight that that is not the case. In fact, we experience abnormalities in the disbursement of the salaries. There are issues, and we have been in communication with administration, impressing upon them to ensure that the issues are resolved concerning salaries. So we want the public to know that parity has not been ensured in terms of salaries. We are not at the level of the University of Liberia, which we agreed upon at the Ministry of Finance, and we even told them that we need to even be paid higher because of our location. So we want this message to go forth. In that same line, we have communicated with other stakeholders. We were in conversation last night with Representative P. McJury and Senator J. Blebo Brown concerning the issue. And we thought it wise to have these other stakeholders informed because they were cardinal or instrumental in ensuring that we have the academic disengagement suspended.
Okay, and so let's take it a bit at a time. Some of those issues were the housing which I think for those who didn't have housing were sort of reimbursed. Firstly, were all those people, the affected people, were they reimbursed?
Yeah, up to a point, and
Up to a point.
they were not reimbursed. What happened was that as a faculty member, you are entitled to housing. I'm not sure what is happening to newer faculty members now, but at the time, we were and are still entitled to housing. But for one reason or the other, the past president, Dr. Elliot Ray Wilson, decided to stop the housing incentives that were given to us. So that became part of the MOU. So what actually happened was that from the time the housing was suspended up to a point, the administration reimbursed us for the rental fees that we paid outside of campus.
So is this going to continue? Because some faculty, and as you rightly said, some people came afterwards, but for those who were here earlier had the benefit or whatever, or right or whatever in their letters that they were going to be provided with housing. And I'm sure this includes you.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it going to continue? Say those who still live off campus, who don't have faculty or housing allotted to them, is the administration going to continue paying for their rentals?
It's important to look at it in not just one context. It is a situation that needs the involvement of all parties. That is, those on campus, those off campus, and administration. From the beginning, housing was and continues to be an incentive that will lure people here. I've been here since 2009. Things were very difficult those days. Understandably, the environment has changed, but we believe in consultation. So the fact that you have other faculty members on campus means that faculty members off campus are still entitled to housing. In the event where you cannot host everybody on campus, then you have to provide solution in the form of rental fees. So it is up to administration to negotiate how the rental fees will be. But yes, it should be continued. Some may argue that you are working, but again, I would like to point out that these are part of the incentives that make people to stay here.
Okay.
So,
now, recently, the president announced the formation or formed a committee to revisit the faculty who currently reside on campus. What do you make of that? That is, the new levies were going to be charged or something of the sort. Is that committee still functional? The president was here, the acting president was here recently, and he talked about that as well. He said the TUFA, that's the representative of the faculty, are going to be on that committee and whatnot. So are you aware of that, and are you engaging and working along with that?
well, we're open to discussions. But again, we want to point out that monies were collected from faculty members before in the name of maintenance fees. We are demanding accountability for those fees that were collected and how they were expended. This is the administration. The fact that one or two persons left or have left does not negate the fact that they still have a responsibility to making sure that the monies are accounted for.
Yeah, but Mr. Fuka, you can't blame this acting president because this was not done under his watch.
Administration is continuous, so that is one aspect of it. initially were not informed. We heard that the Vice President for Administration formed a committee and called
Upon the orders of the president.
upon the orders of the president, and named some of our members to that committee, and we withdrew them from that committee, and told administration to put their house in order and come up with a proposal. We have not seen the proposal yet, but whatever they discuss will be subject to our involvement, and we believe that a reasonable conclusion will be met.
Phoenix FM, we are here on the Night Talk, and our guest is the president of TUFA, Francis Fuka. We're talking about the upcoming semester, which we'll jump to subsequently, and also on the MOU and some clarity the TUFA wants to make. TUFA is the Tubman University Faculty Association. Let's come back to this salary adjustment thing. Some of the sightings of the president, the acting president, is that some faculty already had salaries which were above the threshold for faculty, especially those who had been transferred from administration to faculty, and so there was no way that their salaries maybe could have been added to. So don't you think, because you said the way they were, the salary adjustments were done doesn't, satisfy TUFA, so don't you think those are some of the reasons?
To begin with, Gardner, the blame should be placed on administration. If you send people to the classroom in the name of anger and hate, these are some of the things that will result. Now, it is not our business that you send somebody who was once upon a time, maybe say a vice president, and because you didn't like or you don't like the person, you send him to the classroom. That creates an imbalance. But outside of that, you should not take one aspect of the situation and run away with it, and try to make it look as though what we are saying doesn't hold water. In essence, we were in Monrovia in April, that is late April up to early May. And generally, the agreement at the Ministry of Finance was that we have listened to you, what you say makes sense. UL faculty members, without going into the specificity of the salaries, UL is up here, Tubman University, you are down here, and this is where you will be. After negotiations were concluded, the focal person at the Ministry of Finance said that he wanted the minister who was out of the country at the time to come so that he would give he would give his blessings to the document. As we speak, the documents are yet to be delivered to TUFA, the comprehensive document.
Why is that so?
That is the open question. We've been working behind the scenes with administration and even trying to make calls frantically with the focal person at the Ministry of Finance, but to no avail, except for one time he called TUFA and promised again to release the document, which he hasn't done yet. So, yes, there may be one or two persons who were already there because of their previous positions and they were later transferred to the classroom, but that does not speak for the entirety of the association. So let it be clear that Tubman University Faculty Association is not being paid at the level of the University of Liberia as is being speculated around here.
Okay, now to the level or threshold of the UL faculty or what have you.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied with it? Because you just mentioned that the UL is situated in Monrovia, where you got all the best things in Liberia.
Yeah.
And TU is way out here, where you got several huge challenges.
Yeah.
So if your salaries were reconciled with that of the University of Liberia, is that going to satisfy you?
To an extent. That is why during the negotiation there were also suggestions and recommendations made for more lighting as an addition or additional incentive to the salary. And I want to piggyback on the housing. The housing too that we are benefiting from here is also an incentive, because people there at UL are not given, housing. So the moonlighting plus the housing incentives that we benefit from, at least will be appreciable. But wherein we are located in this remote southeast and still below the level of the University of Liberia, that is something that would not be satisfactory, and TUFA would not agree to it.
So what is your suggestion when it comes to faculty who were actually transferred from administration and have higher salaries than the ordinary faculty?
So the policy of the government is that if someone is transferred from position A to position B, his salary is not tempered with.
Right.
So we don't want to get into people's salaries. We cannot be the ones saying reduce the person's salary. What we need to avoid is to stop this kind of situations. Do not send people to the classrooms because you hate them. All right. So
you want them back in their original positions.
If the person is qualified to be in the classroom, so be it. Because if you do that, if you send, say, a vice president to the classroom, you create an imbalance in the salary, and you have to upskill the rest of the people, because it creates nervousness. It creates
especially for those who didn't know the situation.
Okay, so that is it.
Okay, now since when did you have a meeting, a one-on-one meeting with the administration, or say the president?
Just 2 days ago, I had a meeting with the president. Last month, the acting PRO, Mrs. Lydia Johnson, and myself met the president. We were also in telephone conversation with the head of finance, Mr. Hammer, and we've also been in conversation with the focal person from the HR here, Mr. Dara Thomas. So we have been working behind the scene to make sure that this thing does not become escalatory.
Okay, we have the president of TUFA in studio, Francis Fuka, and he's making some clarity, actually, and also telling us about their preparedness. We're going to come to that, but we have to cover up these aspects first. Sir, let's look at other issues here. The finance ministry was supposed to have taken over this salary payment or disbursement or whatever of Tubman University. I'm not sure if it was only for the faculty or the entire university. Any word on that?
That has been something of a major concern, not just to faculty members, but the support staff. That was one of the recommendations when we met at the Ministry of Finance. Having seen one or two things on the payroll, that is the focal person at the ministry. So it's something that is still in the works. Before it is finalized, the GA, or before there is alteration, the faculty association, the administration will have to sit down and discuss. So there are several levels to that, but I personally believe that the most important thing is to know how much an individual is to get. We want to make sure that everyone is covered the right way. If you are to make $1, that $1 should be given to you. Whether it comes from Monrovia or Year, that is another story. But our primary focus now is making sure that faculty members are well paid and satisfied to do their work.
The acting president is not actually in for the Ministry of Finance taking over. He cited several reasons. Say, for example, salary deduction for maybe payment of relative fees in Tubman University, salary advance and all that. So he's saying that if the finance ministry takes over the salary of TU, we're not going to benefit from. You're not going to benefit from this other things like salary advance and whatnot.
Let me not be naive to think that there is no truth in some of the things he's saying. Most of the people, the janitorial staff, they have their children. They do benefit from salary advances. The question is it possible to do it from the level of the Ministry of Finance? Yes, but there might be one or two complexities. I'm not the spokesperson for administration, but what we want to see here now is that our primary focus now is to make sure that our membership receives what is duly intended for them, and then that other one will be taken care of.
Let's look at the computer labs and softwares and equipment which should have been procured. How is that aspect so far? Those were one of your points of the academic disengagement, as you put it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So, realizing the need to better equip our students, we included the computer lab. We ensured that was enshrined in the MOU, and before the beginning of this semester, we told administration and other stakeholders that the computer lab should be fully air conditioned, that we should have at least 30 computers to serve the students in that particular lab. As we speak, the computers have not yet arrived, but we still have the semester opening next month, and we are hopeful that those computers will be ready. I listened to the acting president talking about spending too much to
get too little,
yeah,
right?
To get too little.
What do you make of that?
Gardner, we open to to possibilities. There are things, yes, you can procure online, but what we want to stress is that those things, whatever measure that will be taken, should be in line with established policies. Procurement has to be involved. PPCC, if you want to get an exemption, has to be involved. The students, via the leadership, will have to be involved in TUFA. So, if you want to procure computers from outside of the country, what is the time frame? We told you that these computers should be ready before the beginning of the new semester. So, the students have to be involved in the negotiation. If you think you want to buy more computers from outside, TUFA has to be involved so that we all together can agree on a reasonable timeline. Because according to the MOU, our students should have not less than 30 computers in the computer lab. So we're open to those possibilities, and we think we can find a common ground to that. It doesn't hurt if we get more than 30 computers, good computers, to serve even more than one computer lab.
Okay, so the university is collaborating with the Njala University of Sierra Leone to do a doctorate program here, which will actually be owned by that university, but run on the facilities of Tupman University, as well as Tupman University's own graduate school. Firstly, what do you make of those two moves?
Let me answer by saying this. You don't build a two-story building on top of mud bricks. Yeah, and I'll be very clear with that. The people that are going to be enrolling into those programs will be our graduates. So I am of the opinion that we should strengthen our undergraduate program. We do not want to stretch ourselves thin.
Is this the position of TUFA, or this is just your personal take on it?
That is my take on it.
Okay.
So, even why it is true this is a welcoming news, equally so, we should make sure that our students that we are preparing to enroll in the master's program are better prepared. Internet facilities must be there. The library must be equipped. Go and see our library now. In fact, that is one of the reasons why 2 programs at the College of Health Sciences were stopped. That is the information we're getting. The nursing and midwifery programs.
When
They were not
when were
accredited.
those stopped?
2 weeks ago
By the university
by the
or
nursing board, because we did not meet up with standards set up by the board, and that is very worrying.
you mean for this
For
academic
this
semester?
academic semester. So where are we going? If we want to run a graduate program, the feeder programs must be able to stand by themselves. You can have people in offices stalling processes. When things need to be approved, you have to be running up and down.
People in offices stalling processes. What do you mean by that?
I'm making specific reference to
Too much
the nursing,
bureaucracies
the
and-
nursing program.
Okay.
In addition to the bureaucracy, we're getting reports that people putting their personal feelings into the workspace. But we are going to go.
So that's what
into
the faculty.
The nitty-gritty of why those programs, because students plan their programs based on the time and the monies that they will have. So why is it that these programs are temporarily suspended? Who is responsible for that? TUFA has to be duly informed because it borders on the learning of the students.
So what's going to happen to say students who got plans to enroll for nursing and midwifery?
According to the information we received, there will be no registration for those programs.
But have you
until-
verified that information?
I wanted to do the investigation.
Okay.
This information is credible to the extent where the department is sending the college is sending a representative to Monrovia to run after that.
Wow.
So back to your question about the graduate program,
school, right,
the
right.
graduate school. That is a good thing, but strengthen the undergraduate program, strengthen the library, strengthen the computer lab. Let the internet be continuous. We don't have break in, where will you do your research? Even the laboratories, all right, need to be up to date.
What about the Njala collaboration?
That is the same. That is the same thing. The Njala collaboration. What we want to say is this: while it is true that we agree and we want people to get their terminal degrees, we want people to get their PhDs, TUFA will not agree to administration pinning her members down to a particular school.
What do you mean?
There is this need to have TUFA members get the terminal degrees, which is very good, but we're sensing that it must be in Jala University. That will not be the case. TUFA will not subscribe to that. We need to have diversity, all right? So you cannot tell us, or you will not tell us that every TUFA member must attend in Jala University and get his or her terminal degree. That will not work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay, still on this issue of faculty and what the president is expected to travel to India. He and his executive officer to recruit faculty, 10 PhDs, according to the information. What do you make of that?
Let me tell you this, Mr. Gardner. If I were opportune to talk to the Minister of Finance, I would tell him that that is a good idea, but carried out the wrong way. You remember once upon a time we had Nigeria sending some of her citizens here, and
Right.
some of them are still here today, to Liberia. Some of them came to Maryland. That is a bilateral relationship, bilateral agreement. So the country sends her citizens here and they help to build the system. If our acting president, through the kind gesture of the minister, is going to India to take Indian citizens to bring them here, under what agreement are they coming? Are you going to recruit? If it is a process of recruitment, let the HR go or put it on the web. Now, there are issues surrounding that, and I've communicated with the president. TUFA will not sit here. You bring people from India, you pay them fabulous salaries, and we are still at the lower echelon. I told him specifically that that would be a recipe for chaos. Where are they going to be? Where are they going to be housed? How much are you going to pay them? So this is something that has to be looked into critically. You see, God, now we have bright students that are graduating. The future of any country is not a guesswork or it's not extrapolated. It is built. And institutions like the University of Liberia, Tubman University, are places where you start to build people that will build the nation. But instead of investing and sending our bright minds for masters, PhDs, so that over time they take over this university, you just bring people from anywhere. I'm not saying the Indians are not good, but that process, how long are you going to keep them here for? Are you going to pay them the same chicken change that you pay us? If not, where would the money come from? Then you look at continuity. How long are they going to be here? Is Mr. Tua going to be paying them all the while? If you have the money to pay these people so much, why not pay us so much so that we gave our utmost best and send some of our bright minds away? So we can't stop him. We cannot stop him from going. We just want to.
But have you discussed this with him? Have you made these points clear to him when you heard about the trip to India?
Definitely, we spoke.
And what was his response?
I don't want to disclose. That.
Right. So let's move over to your preparedness. I know things aren't as they should be in some way or another, but are you prepared for this semester, given the challenges?
We need to graduate from just doing things. I was discussing with one of my colleagues, just doing things because it is on the curriculum. It is part of the curriculum. But we need to do things because we know that when we do them, they will add salt to what we're doing. There are challenges. There are indeed challenges, but we believe that these challenges can be surmounted if we indeed work together. We're going to do our best from the end of the faculty association, but administration and other stakeholders have to do their best also. Look at the registration process, as we said. It started inauspiciously. What is the morale? What is the message that we send to our new students? Tubman University is a very good place to be if we put ourselves together. So Gardner, we're not there yet, but we think there are changes that can be made for the betterment of this university. I don't know whether we still have time or we're wrapping up.
If you want to add something, we can add. I actually have one more question.
Okay,
here.
you can.
We've been hearing about the resumption of your academic disengagement this semester. Is it true that TUFA is going to disengage or resume the disengagement?
I think to answer your question, Gardner, what I want to say is that the inevitability of the reenactment of the academic disengagement will be increasingly conspicuous if current trend of events continue and other stakeholders do not do what they're supposed to do.
Okay. So anything else you want to add before we drop this interview?
We hope that that doesn't come. We've made it clear As I said, we were in conversation with Senator Brown and Representative Dure. We continue to engage administration. We have not achieved parity in terms of salaries. Everything in the MOU has not been addressed. And the issue of increment in salary is very cardinal to the forward movement of the university and our students.
Okay, so I want to say thank you very much for coming on the Night Talk.
Thank you very much for having us.
Okay, we hope that as we progress, we will have you in studio again to provide more clarity.
Anytime, sir.
Better motherland will never fall. In union strong, society very sure. Our right to prove.